The new College Football 25 update is officially here, so it's time to break it down and go over everything that has changed about the game. We got some new content added to the game. Today also kicks off Season 2 for Ultimate Team, and we also got numerous changes to gameplay, Dynasty, and Road to Glory. Now, they're also going to continue updating the game for the next few months. We're going to consistently get new content. They're going to keep tweaking things. They're going to add things to the game as well. So if you don't want to miss out on any of those future updates, make sure you subscribe with the bell icon on so you never miss these videos the second they go live. You know, more than half of you that watch the videos actually aren't even subscribed, so you could be missing out on a ton of important videos and you don't even know about it. So let's start with the gameplay updates, and there's a few very important ones in here. The first one is they added a new switch stick delay option. This will be found in your game options menu. The options include no delay, slight delay, large delay, and you can disable this altogether, which I know a lot of people have been asking for because some people don't like the switch stick and they accidentally kind of take their guys out of the play a little bit when they don't mean to switch stick. So you can disable this altogether now if you want to. They also fixed an issue where players would receive a speed boost when using custom stems and smart routing. It says here we will be working on an additional fix slated for the next title update, which will result in further balancing, but this is one of the biggest glitches in the game. It's also in Madden, so this is going to be patched in Madden soon as well. You can no longer do the speed boost route stem glitch anymore. Here's another interesting one. They increased the responsiveness of the pass block sliders for users and CPU. So for those of you that have been having trouble with the offensive line blocking and you feel like that they're shedding too quickly and the sliders were not affecting this enough, maybe now the sliders will actually improve your pass blocking and you can tweak it a little bit more. They also fixed an issue where defenders could slip through double teams without the appropriate animation. I believe this here is probably an attempt to fix the double mug defenses where people are kind of pinching everything down and you're able to sometimes get a guy to slip through almost unblocked. That's what it sounds like, but we'll have to test it out and see. Moving on here, it says general CPU play call and coach suggestion tuning across all modes, and it says we will monitor feedback on this and make necessary changes in future title updates. They also decreased the times the CPU calls jet touch passes. Those can be a little annoying to stop, so that might help you out in your dynasty games. They also increased the effectiveness of pass committing versus trick plays, so those flea flickers and those double passes and stuff like that probably aren't going to work as well versus a pass commit now. They also increased the risk of run committing from man coverage, so there is something in the game right now where if you play straight man coverage with no zone, you can run commit and it'll run commit versus the run, but if the offense passes, then your defense won't run commit. So it sounds like now they've balanced that a little bit better so that it's not something that works both ways. They also fixed an issue where players could continue to spin when using conservative ball carrier coaching adjustment. That's a very important fix because you're not supposed to be able to do that, so that's a really good one. They adjusted the AI logic to significantly reduce the chances of receiving a roughing the kicker penalty on punts and field goals. Now, I feel like they said this before and it still wasn't fixed, so hopefully now it is. They also increased the chance for defensive linemen to sniff out halfback screen plays, so halfback screens might not be quite as effective as they were before. Now, they also added quite a few new formations to the game. So right here it says they added 11 new formations to teams playbooks, including single back wing slot to the Yukon and Charlotte playbook. They added pistol ace double wing to Ball State. They added the pistols double Y off stack to Florida, Louisville, and Illinois. They added pistol trips over Y off to Cincinnati. They added the pistol full house twins over to NMSU, UNLV, the option and spread option playbook. They added pistol strong tight to Liberty, Louisville, UTEP, Rice, and Kennesaw State. They added pistol bunch open to Missouri. They added pistol ace heavy overload to Ball State. Pistol wing slot over to Florida, Texas A&M, Michigan, and Kennesaw State. Pistol weak slot over to Texas A&M and Cincinnati, and pistol strong trips over to Florida, Multiple, and Cincinnati. They also added new jet sweep series plays under center for Utah, Bowling Green, and Kentucky. They added more formations and plays on multiple teams' playbook, specifically empty and short yardage formations, and it says we will continue through future title updates, so I'm guessing they're going to be adding even more. And they also changed the default personnel for Liberty's pistol formations to have two halfbacks instead of a halfback and a tight end / fullback. Now we're going to continue on with the game modes, the new uniforms, and more, but really quickly I do want to mention that we are still sponsored by Underdog Fantasy. If you like sports and you like winning money, then you've got to be on Underdog Fantasy playing their pick'em game. Basically, all you have to do is pick higher or lower on a wide variety of player stats, and if they hit, you can win some big money. And we've got some college football games tonight as week 1 is underway. I'm gonna be rocking with Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter to go over their yards tonight, and I'm gonna be rocking with Omarion Hampton to go over his yards. And there's also a new user sign up special for Travis Kelce for week 1 of the NFL season, where all he has to do is get a single yard and that's it, you win. And if you sign up using my promo code RAY, R-A-Y, they'll also give you up to $1,000 in bonus cash at sign up. So you get a free play of Travis Kelce. There should be some more free plays for Saturday in college football coming as well, and you get up to $1,000 in bonus cash, and you just can't beat that. Moving on to Dynasty mode now. Here is a big one. They enable the ability to edit ratings for non-NIL players and recruits. So yes, now when you get your recruits in Dynasty, you can edit their ratings. If you want to make them a superstar, you can do whatever you want with them. Now you still can't change numbers, and I heard a rumor that this could be coming eventually, but it doesn't look like it's in this update. However, the ability to edit ratings should be a pretty big deal because most people really wanted to do that. It also says here, further Super Sim tuning to reduce completion percentages across the country, especially limiting quarterbacks completing more than 70% of their passes. That's another complaint I saw, so we'll see how that works out. They also introduced new AI Super Sim timing logic for in-game simming. Playtime will now scale to the selected quarter length. And the dev note here says this applies to Super Sim, normal, and Super Sim fast settings. Here's another big one I've seen a lot of complaints about. They enabled mass subs for online and offline Dynasty games when playing against the AI. You will be able to sub in either your entire second unit if your starters are in, or your entire starting group if your second unit is in. They did further tuning of the award system, they fixed an issue with the stat display for Returner of the Year, and they updated data for Kent State and Oklahoma State coaching staff. It says you will be required to start a new dynasty for the updated staff. So that's the only one that you need to start a new dynasty for, which is great. All the other things should work for your existing dynasties, which is good. They also fixed an issue where the broken vertebrae injury was incorrectly labeled as a strained back. Moving on to Road to Glory, it says here they gave players the ability to audible regardless of what position you are when lined up on the field. So I've definitely seen some people complain about that. Now you'll be able to pull off those audibles no matter what position. They retuned starting attributes for all halfback archetypes, which includes an increase to speed, agility, change of direction, and stamina to lower the times you get pulled from the game after a big run. So that's another good fix. And they also retuned the starting attributes for all cornerback archetypes, which includes an increase to speed, stamina, acceleration, and agility. Up on the screen here are all of the Ultimate Team updates. I know the majority of my audience does not care about Ultimate Team, but if you do, you can pause the video and read them. It's mostly just a bunch of little minor bug fixes, nothing too major. Moving on to presentation, they've added a number of new uniforms to the game. Like I said they would. They're going to be doing this, to my knowledge, in pretty much every update. They're going to be adding new batches of uniforms each time. So we've got new uniforms for teams like Arkansas State. We've got them for UAB, Western Kentucky, Louisiana Monroe, Tennessee, ECU, West Virginia, UMass, Charlotte. They've also updated the Ohio State jerseys, which will show the diamond swoosh when they're in playoff games. They added new jerseys for Colorado State and Minnesota. They've also updated uniform pieces for the 2024 season for schools like Charlotte, Cal, Tulsa, and Miami of Ohio. Now, I've said this in previous videos, but also keep in mind, some uniforms that you may want added to the game, they may not be allowed to because the schools have final say on which uniforms are added to the game. Now, they are going to continue adding more with each update. They're going to do a batch about the same size as they have in this one and in the previous update. So we're going to get a good handful of new uniforms each time they update the game, but we're never going to know exactly which ones they're allowed to put in the game and which ones they aren't, because some schools don't really care and they say that you can put whatever uniforms you want in the game. Doesn't matter if we haven't worn them in a while. It's a video game. We don't care. Whereas other schools want it to be accurate to what they're currently wearing in real life. So even if they wore something last season, but they're not planning on wearing it this season, some of those schools won't let EA put those in the game because they want it to accurately represent what they're doing right now. Now, here's another big one. They also included new NIL players for multiple teams. Now, they did not list which players these are. I assume these are a lot of the incoming freshmen because we know they had a lot of people people that opted into the game, and they can only put so many of them in the game at launch because, you know, we're talking over tens of thousands of players. So they said they would continue to add more throughout the year. So I'm guessing we're going to have like a number of new freshmen on multiple teams. I don't know how many players it is, but they did say that they included new ones. So if you spot any new ones on your favorite team, drop them in the comments below so I can know which ones were added. Now, this wasn't actually mentioned in the update notes, but I remember a few weeks ago, somebody that works for Virginia tweeted that this would be in the update. He said that the fans would be hanging out on the hill in the stadium. Now, this wasn't listed for whatever reason. Sometimes they don't list every single thing that's updated. Sometimes they forget a thing or two, but I went in the game and checked, and this is actually updated today in the game. So if you go into the Virginia Stadium, you will see that now you have the fans hanging out on the hill, whereas before it was just empty. So that is a nice update for the Virginia fans. And they also did some additional tier rebalancing to reflect the 5-tier format in the Road to College Football Playoff. So I'm not exactly sure what this means. I think maybe they just moved some teams around because they added more tiers in the last update. So they're probably just further tinkering with it, balancing it out a little better, moving some teams around, but they didn't say specifically which teams it was. Now, I'll bet you don't know about some of these really important settings in College Football 25 that you actually should have turned on if you want to win more games, and you can check that video out right here on the screen.